Hey guys, so in today's video I'm going to be sharing a type 1 diabetic story time. So this goes back all the way to November, December of 2015. So August I will have been diabetic for 13 years, I believe, so since 2007. It is my hope that with these story times you guys can learn from my mistakes and not make the same ones. Or if you already have, or if you've been diabetic like me for almost 13 years now, you guys don't feel alone. That's my hope with sharing these stories. And this one is a doozy. This one is probably the most significant one that I have. I was in the ICU for 3 or 4 days. I think it was about 4 days. I was not in a good place. I was not taking care of myself during this time. And just to give you a little backstory, I was living with my mom during this time in Santa Barbara, but I was primarily in Lompoc for about 90% of the time because my boyfriend lived in Lompoc. I was, yes, if you didn't know, I did go to dental assisting school in Oxnard at Oxnard College. So just for reference, Lompoc is about a 45-minute drive north of Santa Barbara, and Oxnard is about a 45-minute drive south. So I was making about an hour and a half to 2.5 hour drive, depending on how bad the traffic was that day. Like I said, I was not taking care of myself, and I was not putting myself as a priority during this time. Like, I wasn't putting my health as a priority during this time. Keep in mind, I was an adult now, and for a very long time, I just didn't take care of myself. You know, I wasn't in 8th grade anymore. I'm in college now, and that's not her job. Her job isn't to be taking care of me and, you know, monitoring me like she used to when I was in 8th grade. It's just not the same. I'm an adult, and I should have been taking care of myself the way I needed to. I wasn't, and that's basically how I ended up in the ICU. So it was around finals time for my dental assisting school and my program. I do not remember some parts of it. Some parts of it were told to me because I was out of it, obviously, in the ICU. So it was right before finals, and I was really not taking care of myself at this point. I wasn't even testing my blood sugar to even see where I was, but also I wasn't even taking my medicine. At some point I was not testing, but at least I was taking my medicine injections at the time. I didn't have an insulin pump because I had gotten off of it for reasons of that nature. I wasn't using it properly, which I understand. So I was not taking care of myself, obviously, at all at this point. And they had, around this time, I believe, I was getting very bad chest pains. Like, I felt, the way I described it to my doctors was I was having a heart attack. At whatever age I was, 21 years old, I was having a heart attack. That's the only way I could explain the feeling that I was getting in my chest. It felt like there was an elephant sitting on my chest, and I just could not get any air in or out. I would walk like 5 feet. I would walk from maybe the lamp to my right a couple of steps, and I would be completely out of breath. And I would like be breathing really heavy and really hard, and I literally felt like I was having a heart attack. And they had done it, and where they go down your throat with the scope, they did that, and they had come to the conclusion at that point that I had gastroparesis, which is kind of a side effect of diabetes, of uncontrolled diabetes, and it makes you throw up, and it's not good at all. It doesn't feel good. You feel incredibly sick. I didn't take care of myself, and I feel so bad for putting my mom through all of that. And talking about it makes me feel really upset, like, that I put my own body through that. Like, it's really hard to think about this time. Like, it's really hard to talk about. This day in particular, I had been feeling very sick, like with the gastroparesis. I was throwing up. I could not stop throwing up this time. And I just kind of brushed it off and was like, you know what, I'm fine. Like, I'm gonna go to school. And so I drive my little 92 Honda over to Oxnard, about an hour and a half, 2 hours, a 2-hour drive. And for those of you that know like the freeway on the way to Oxnard, that bare space where there's no like on-ramp or off-ramp, there's no like restroom area, like nothing. I was driving past there. I was on my way to school in that area, and I had started throwing up in my car. I had a bag and I was just throwing up. I was vomiting in my car and I was crying. And so I pulled over because I didn't know what else to do. I didn't want to hurt anybody else on the freeway. You know, I could have easily gone into a coma. I could have passed out, and I could have gotten into a very, very bad accident. And that's something I think that plays in my head all the time, like the what ifs, what could have happened to me and what I could have done to somebody else. And that's probably what makes me the most upset, is what I could have done to myself and someone else, because I wasn't taking care of myself. So I had pulled over and I think I had called Kimberly. My friend Kimberly had told the teachers, and I was like hyperventilating on the phone, and they told me, you know what, if you're close enough to a call box, get out of your car and try to walk and see where you are. Go get that call box number and let us know what it is. So I got out of my car and I was really, really close to one of the call boxes, and I gave them the call box number. They hung up the phone. I went back into my car and I just sat there and I just waited. The teacher ended up calling 911 and letting them know where I was, and the ambulance and fire department and police officers came to where my car was. That's the last thing that I remember. I don't remember anything else. I just remember the fire department showing up first. So they ended up towing my car, I believe, and they ended up taking me to Memorial Hospital, which is in Ventura. I was there in the ICU for 3 or 4 days. I had a catheter in, and I was like pulling everything off. From what my mom said, I was pulling like all of my IVs out and everything out, and I was yelling at everyone, telling everyone to get out of my room, and I was just saying a lot of things and acting not like myself from what she was telling me. But again, I don't remember any of it. I don't remember any of the 3 or 4 days of being in there. I don't remember any of it. All I know is from what people have told me, and there was one point where I was telling my boyfriend and insisting that he had a belly button ring. There was a lot that I put my mom through as a single parent, and I know that her and I got in a lot of fights because I didn't take care of myself. I didn't end up getting to finish my dental assisting program. Obviously, I wasn't there for a final. It was a very hard time. Just in general after that, for a couple months after. There was a lot, I think, there is a lot that plays in. My weight is one thing. It fluctuates tremendously, and I don't know if it's because of the insulin. My weight never fluctuated this much before. I was diabetic, but my weight can fluctuate from one day to the next. It's hard, but it's been like that ever since I started taking my insulin, ever since I became diabetic. And, you know, having to test every time I eat and take an injection every time I eat something, whether it's 20 grams of carbs or it's 45 grams of carbs. I have to test and take medicine for every single thing that I eat, every single thing that I basically look at. I feel like I have to take medicine for. And I really took for granted being able to eat whatever I want without having to give an insulin injection to take a shot. You know, my mood changes incredibly because I'm diabetic. If I'm 400, I can be mad in an instant at something. If I don't take my insulin, I will get sick within 3 hours. If my insulin pump isn't working, I will get sick within 3 hours. But the shitty part is, if I put my insulin pump on, but it didn't go in correctly, or the tube jammed, or my tube outside is twisted in the slightest way, and I don't get insulin properly, I will be sick. I will be throwing up in that bathroom later. But the bad part is, I wasn't even testing to see where my numbers were. So I was sick constantly. Nobody around me knows that except for me. Unfortunately, so many people don't know what type 1 diabetes is. They don't know that you can't just go on a mile run and lose some weight and then you won't be diabetic anymore. Honey, that's not how it works. I can eat as healthy as I want, not take my medicine. Maybe on accident, maybe I just forgot. Maybe I got really excited about eating this meal and I forgot to take my insulin. I will get sick. People don't know that the scars on my stomach aren't from having my daughter. Scars on my stomach are from insulin injections, hitting the wrong spot, hitting a vein and it bruising. Testing, and you accidentally put the needle threshold up to 3 or 4 instead of 1. And you have a bruise and that hurts. It hurts. You know how many nerve endings you have in your fingers? You know what having high blood glucose numbers do? Makes you depressed. It makes you forget. But so many people don't realize that. They don't want to learn about type 1 diabetes because they don't have it and nobody they know has it and no one in their family has it. But it's real and it's out there. Don't have a cure. Type 1 diabetics don't have a cure. And I think a lot of people forget that. I think that they just blow it off as, you can lose weight and it'll go away. No, that's not how it is. I was in the ICU for 3 days, 4 days. The scary part is, when I was in the ICU, they told my mother that the acid was going into my bloodstream. That's incredibly toxic. That is bad. People die from that. My organs were shutting down. Everything was shutting down. I was gonna die. Why did I do that to myself? Why did I do that to my family? Because it's hard. It's hard to live with it. And it's okay to say that it's hard. It's okay to say that you're struggling with it. That's okay. If you tell me there's so many people that live with it, like, just get over it. That's not gonna help me. I'm not everybody. I'm not that person or this person. I'm me. And if it takes me 12, 13 years to accept it, shit, that sucks. But at least I'm accepting it now. And that's why I'm trying. I'm trying the best that I can. It will never go away. That's what everybody needs to know and realize. Don't tell me, first of all, you're not a doctor. Second of all, it will not go away. I'm the one that has been living with it for 13 years. I think I would know. With all of that being said, I hope you guys take something from this story and don't do what I did. Even if you're having a hard time accepting it or you feel alone, know that you're not. Know that there are people that understand what you're going through. It's okay to mess up here and there, but don't do what I did. Don't not test. Don't not take your medicine. I found out almost a little too late. I would have hurt so many people. So please, please, please take care of yourself. Try your hardest just as I am. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.